In a sealed environment, a high-precision laboratory instrument deviates from its baseline. It registers a physical influence without an identifiable physical cause. Parapsychology is the study of these specific anomalies, phenomena that face consistent rejection from mainstream scientific institutions. These two journal pages from the American Psychological Association illustrate the formal academic scrutiny directed at the field. The skeptic's position is articulated in the text box. The data gathered for these anomalies have no value because the claims themselves violate the known laws of physics. This argument relies on the logic that pigs cannot fly. Therefore, any data suggesting otherwise is the inherent result of a flawed methodology or improper analysis. This creates a central tension. The scientific method is being used to investigate events that the institutional paradigm has already deemed impossible. Parapsychology operates as a formal academic discipline, distinct from the popularized, media-driven imagery of ghost hunting. The Journal of Parapsychology defines the paranormal as phenomena that exceed the limits of what is deemed physically possible according to current scientific assumptions. Researchers use the Greek letter psi as a neutral umbrella term for these occurrences. The field is inherently interdisciplinary, drawing on researchers from physics, neuroscience, and biology to provide a multifaceted analysis of the data. Ultimately, parapsychology is defined by its commitment to the scientific study of anomalous human experiences, rather than the nature of the subjects themselves. To create a testable framework, parapsychology divides psi into three rigidly defined categories. The first is extrasensory perception, or ESP. This domain involves the acquisition of information through non-sensory channels, including telepathy, clairvoyance, and precognition. The second domain is mind-matter interaction, where consciousness appears to influence physical systems. This diagram details micro-PK, which focuses on statistical effects in random number generators, as opposed to large-scale, visible physical changes. The final category is the survival of bodily death. This research focuses on the continuation of consciousness after physical death, studying near-death experiences, mediumship, and apparitions. This yellow ring shows how the letter psi represents the totality of these overlapping fields of study. By categorizing the anomalous in this way, parapsychologists can apply the same rigorous testing used in any other scientific discipline. Skeptics often claim there is a total lack of data supporting these phenomena. However, a review of 125 published papers found that the evidence for psi is statistically comparable to established phenomena in psychology. The results cannot be explained away by fraud or poor methodology. Despite the strength of the data, the findings are rejected because they currently lack a clear physical mechanism. In most scientific fields, an anomaly is treated as a prompt to update the current model of reality. In this case, the controversy is driven by the perceived impossibility of the subject matter, rather than the quality of the empirical evidence. This institutional resistance is rooted in the bedrock axiom of modern science, materialism. This model builds a hierarchy of reality, where physics informs chemistry, which informs biology. At the top of the pyramid sits psychology. Here, consciousness is viewed strictly as a byproduct of brain chemistry and physical processes. If the mind is entirely contained within the brain, then interacting with distant matter or surviving physical death is a logical impossibility. The data for psi is fundamentally incompatible with this materialist framework. To accept the existence of these anomalies, the foundational model of the mind must be revised. Parapsychology advocates for an alternative framework, non-materialism. This model suggests that consciousness is a primary property of the universe, a fundamental layer from which the physical world emerges. If consciousness is non-local and fundamental, then connections across space and time are expected rather than impossible. ESP and mind-matter interaction become logical features of the system. This positions parapsychology as the empirical wing of the broader field of consciousness studies. Current research focuses on the specific conditions and mechanisms that optimize anomalous functioning. Modern institutes operate on a triple mission: to normalize these experiences, optimize their reliability, and utilize them in practical applications. This list emphasizes the need for interdisciplinary collaboration to understand what this final bullet point calls the science of connection. Parapsychology is the study of the incomplete. It is a discipline that forces a revision of our reality to include the full depth of human experience.